It is 2:47 in the morning on February 25th, 2026, and I cannot sleep. I have been lying here for 3 hours, staring at the ceiling, and every time I close my eyes, I see it again. I see the desert, I see the stars, I see his face. And I know I have to get up and tell you what happened, because if I don't, I feel like something inside me is going to break open. My hands are shaking right now. I want you to know that. My hands are literally shaking as I type these words, and I have been crying on and off since it happened, and I don't fully understand everything I was shown. But I know with everything in me that I am supposed to share this with you today. Not tomorrow, not after I have had time to process it more carefully. Today, right now, at 2:47 in the morning, because that is when he woke me up, and that is when he told me to write it down. So look, I need you to understand something before we go any further. I don't do this lightly. I am not someone who runs around claiming to have visions every other week. I am not someone who sensationalizes things or tries to get attention or build a platform off of spiritual experiences. I have been walking with God for a long time, and I have learned to be careful, to be measured, to test what I receive before I share it. But what happened to me tonight, what I was shown, what I heard, it is so specific, so urgent, so tied to the next 7 days, that staying silent would be a sin. It would be a betrayal of you, and a betrayal of the one who showed me these things. And so here I am, at 2:47 in the morning, telling you that Jesus spoke to me tonight. He showed me 7 things that are going to happen in the first week of March. 7 things. And I need you to hear every single one of them. Now, I want to say something to you right now before we get into any of this. If you are watching this, if you are reading this, if this somehow found its way to you today, that is not an accident. I want you to hear me on that. You were not randomly scrolling and stumbled onto this by chance. Something, someone brought you here, and I believe with everything in me that you are one of the people who was meant to receive this message. Not everyone will see this. Not everyone is supposed to, but you are here, and that means something real. So I am asking you, please don't click away. Don't dismiss this. Give me your full attention, because what I am about to share with you could change the entire trajectory of your life, starting right now, starting today. And I mean that. I don't say it as a hook. I say it because it is what he told me to tell you. And, I almost didn't post this. I sat here for almost an hour after it happened, just asking God, are you sure? Are you sure you want me to share this? Because some of what I was shown is heavy. Some of it is going to be hard to hear. Some of it is going to challenge you in ways that feel uncomfortable. And number four, I have to tell you, number four is going to shake you. I don't say that for drama. I don't say that to be sensational. I say that because when he showed it to me, I physically felt it in my chest. I felt something shift inside me, like a door being pushed open that had been sealed shut for a long time. And I think when you hear it, you will feel it too. So stay with me. We are going to get through all 7 of these together, and by the time we are done, I believe you are going to understand why this message had to come out tonight, at this hour, in this way. Let me also say this. I know some of you are skeptical. I know some of you are thinking, okay, here we go, another person claiming to have a vision. And I understand that. I really do. I have been that person. I have rolled my eyes at things like this before. I have been the one sitting in the back of the room with my arms crossed thinking, prove it. And I am not asking you to abandon your discernment. I am not asking you to turn off your critical thinking. What I am asking you to do is stay open, stay present, because what I am going to share with you is not vague. It is not some general, things are going to get intense, stay prayed up kind of message. It is specific. It is dated. It is tied to a 7-day window that begins in just a few days. And if even one of these things resonates with your spirit, I need you to take all of it seriously. So please stay with me. Comment below if you are here. Let me know you are watching. Let me know you are reading. Because I need to know that this message is reaching the people it was meant for. I want to tell you how this started because the context matters. It matters a lot. Yesterday evening, I was exhausted. Not just physically tired, but the kind of deep soul tired that comes when you have been carrying something heavy for a long time. I had been praying for weeks about things I was seeing in the world, things I was sensing in the spirit, a kind of pressure that I couldn't quite name but couldn't shake either. It was like the atmosphere had changed somehow, like something was building just beneath the surface of everything, and I could feel it, but I couldn't see it clearly. And I went to bed early, around 9 in the evening, which is unusual for me. I remember lying down and just saying, God, I need you. I don't have words for what I need, but I need you. And then I fell asleep almost immediately, which is also unusual for me because I am normally a terrible sleeper. I normally lie awake for an hour at least, my mind running through everything I didn't finish and everything I need to do. But last night I was out almost before my head hit the pillow, and I think now I understand why. I think he was preparing me. I think he was quieting me down so that I would be ready to receive what he wanted to show me. And that is when it began. I don't know exactly when in the night it happened, but at some point I became aware that I was no longer in my room. I was standing in a desert, and I want to try to describe this to you because the details matter. It was night. The sky above me was absolutely full of stars, more stars than I have ever seen in my life, like the sky had been split open and all the light of heaven was pouring through. The air was warm but not hot, and there was a stillness to it, a kind of holy stillness, the kind where you instinctively know that something sacred is about to happen. The sand beneath my feet was pale, almost silver in the starlight, and it stretched out in every direction as far as I could see. There were no buildings, there were no roads, there was no sound except for a faint wind that moved through the air like a breath, and I was alone. Or at least I thought I was alone. And then I felt it, that presence. If you have ever been in the presence of God, you know what I am talking about. It is not something you can fully describe with words. It is like every cell in your body suddenly becomes aware of something infinitely larger than itself. It is like warmth and weight and light all at once. It is like being known, completely and utterly known, and loved anyway. And I turned, and he was there. Jesus was standing maybe 20 feet away from me, and he was looking at me with those eyes, and I want to tell you about his eyes, because I will never forget them as long as I live. They were full of love, so much love that it almost hurt to look at. But there was also something else in them. There was urgency, there was a kind of holy grief, the grief of someone who sees what is coming and is doing everything in his power to prepare the people he loves. And he said to me, I need you to write down what I am about to show you. I need you to tell my people. And I said, Lord, I will. I will tell them everything. And he nodded and he said, all seven. Don't leave anything out. And I said, all seven, I promise. He said, I am going to show you 7 things that will happen in the first week of March. 7 markers, 7 moments. And the people who are prepared will move through them in my peace, and the people who are not prepared will be shaken. And then he looked at me with those eyes again, and he said, tell them all 7, don't leave anything out. And so here I am telling you, and I need you to understand that what I am about to share is not my opinion, it is not my interpretation, it is not my prediction, it is what I was shown, it is what he told me. And I am going to give you every single one of these 7 things starting right now, starting with the first one. The first thing he showed me, and I want you to really sit with this one, was a shaking. Not a physical earthquake, though I want to be careful here because what I saw had layers to it. What I saw was a shaking of foundations. He showed me structures, and I understood these structures to represent things that people have been trusting in, things that have felt solid and reliable, things that people have built their sense of security on. And I watched as these structures began to tremble. Not collapse, not yet, but tremble. And he said to me, the first week of March will bring a trembling to the things that seemed unshakable. And I said, Lord, what does that mean for your people? And he said, for those who are rooted in me, it will feel like a test. For those who are rooted in the world, it will feel like a catastrophe. The shaking is not punishment. The shaking is invitation. I'm inviting people to find their foundation in me before the greater shaking comes. And I want to pause here and ask you something. What are you standing on right now? What is the thing that, if it were taken away, would leave you feeling completely lost? Is it a job? Is it a relationship? Is it a financial situation that has felt stable for a while? Is it someone's approval, someone whose opinion of you has become the thing that tells you whether you are okay or not? Because I believe that is exactly what this first marker is pointing to. He is not trying to destroy you. He is trying to show you where your real security needs to be. And I felt such compassion from him as he showed me this. He wasn't angry. He wasn't standing there with his arms crossed waiting for people to fail. He was like a father who sees his child about to fall and is trying to get their attention before it happens. He was like someone who loves you so much that he would rather let something uncomfortable happen now than watch you be devastated later by a collapse you were never prepared for. So if you feel a trembling in your life, in the first week of March, in your finances, in your relationships, in your sense of stability and the things you have been counting on, I need you to hear this. That trembling is not the end. That trembling is a call. It is a call to come back to the only foundation that cannot be shaken, and I want you to receive it as that, not as punishment, not as abandonment, not as evidence that God has forgotten you or turned his back on you. Receive it as an invitation. Receive it as a hand reaching toward you, saying, "Come here, come back to me. Let me be the thing you stand on, because I am the only thing that will hold when everything else is moving." The second thing he showed me was a door, and this one, I have to tell you, this one made me weep because it was so beautiful and so heartbreaking at the same time. He showed me a door of opportunity, a door of divine appointment, a door that he himself was opening for specific people in the first week of March. And I watched as some people walked through it. They walked through it with confidence, with faith, with their eyes forward and their hands open. And I watched as other people stood in front of it and hesitated. They looked at the door, and they looked back at where they had come from, and they looked at the door again, and they couldn't make themselves step through. And some of them, and this is the part that broke my heart, some of them turned around and walked away. They walked away from an open door that God himself had prepared for them. And I watched them walk away, and I felt the grief of it, and I looked at him, and there were tears on his face. And he said to me, "The second marker is an open door. I am opening doors in the first week of March that I have been preparing for years. Doors that required seasons of preparation, seasons of pruning, seasons of waiting before they could be opened. And some of my people will walk through them, and some will not." And I said, "Lord, why won't they walk through?" And he said, "Fear and comfort and the lie that the timing isn't right." And I said, "Lord, what do I tell them?" And he said, "Tell them the timing is right. Tell them I have been preparing this door for them. Tell them that the preparation they went through, the hard seasons, the waiting, the pruning, all of it was for this moment. Tell them to walk through." So I'm telling you, if a door opens for you in the first week of March and something in your spirit says, "This is it, this is the moment, I need you to walk through it." Don't let fear talk you out of it. Don't let comfort keep you where you are. Don't let the enemy convince you that the timing is off, that you are not ready, that you need more time, more preparation, more certainty. The timing is not off. He said the timing is right. And I believe that door has your name on it. I believe it has been waiting for you. And I believe that when you walk through it, you are going to look back and understand why everything that came before it had to happen exactly the way it did. Now, the third thing he showed me, and this is where things started to get more intense, the third thing was a word about voices. He showed me a scene, and in this scene, there were many voices speaking, many voices competing for attention, many voices claiming to have the truth, claiming to have the answer, claiming to speak for God. And I watched as people tried to sort through all of these voices, and I could see the confusion on their faces, the exhaustion of trying to figure out who to trust. There were voices on screens and voices in rooms and voices in their own heads, and all of them were loud and all of them were urgent, and all of them were saying, "Listen to me, I have what you need." And the people were overwhelmed, and some of them just shut down entirely because the noise was too much. And he said to me, "In the first week of March, the noise will increase, the voices will multiply, and many of my people will be tempted to follow voices that sound right but are not mine, voices that use my language but do not carry my spirit, voices that invoke my name but lead people away from my heart." And I said, "Lord, how will they know? How will they know which voice is yours?" And he said something that I have been thinking about ever since. He said, "My voice always leads to peace. My voice always leads to love. My voice always leads to life." If a voice is leading you to fear, to division, to hatred, to despair, to hopelessness, that voice is not mine, no matter whose mouth it comes from, no matter how spiritual it sounds, no matter how many scriptures it quotes. If it is not leading you to peace, to love, to life, it is not my voice. And, I think we all need to hear that right now because there is so much noise. There is so much competing information, competing narratives, competing claims of truth. And I think a lot of people are genuinely confused and genuinely exhausted by it. But he gave us a filter. His voice leads to peace. His voice leads to love. His voice leads to life. So in the first week of March, when the noise increases, and he said it will increase, I need you to use that filter. Ask yourself, is this voice leading me to peace? Is it leading me to love? Is it leading me to life? And if the answer is no, you don't have to follow it. You don't have to give it your attention. You are allowed to turn it off and go back to the one voice that always, always leads you home. And now we come to the fourth thing, and I told you this one would shake you. I told you. And I want to take a breath before I share this because even now, even as I am writing this, I can feel the weight of it. I can feel the gravity of what he showed me. So I need you to take a breath too. I need you to be ready because this is not easy, but it is necessary. And he told me to tell you all of it. He told me not to soften it, not to water it down, not to make it more comfortable than it actually is. He said, tell them the truth. Tell them what I showed you, and so I am going to do exactly that. The fourth thing he showed me was a betrayal, and I want to be very careful about how I describe this because I don't want to create fear where he was actually offering warning and preparation. What he showed me was not one single betrayal, but a pattern of betrayal that will surface in the first week of March. He showed me people discovering that someone they trusted, someone they believed in, someone they had given their heart to, was not who they appeared to be. And I watched the pain of that discovery on people's faces, and it was devastating to witness. It was the kind of pain that goes all the way down to the bone, the kind that makes you question everything you thought you knew, the kind that makes you wonder if you can ever trust anyone again. And I said, Lord, why are you showing me this? Why are you showing me betrayal? And he said, because I want my people to be prepared, not blindsided. I want them to know that when this happens, when they discover that someone was not who they seemed, it is not the end of their story. It is the beginning of their freedom. And then he said something that I have to share with you word for word because I don't want to lose anything in translation. He said, the betrayal that surfaces in the first week of March is not a surprise to me. I have seen it. I have known it. And I have been waiting for the right moment to bring it into the light because what is hidden in darkness cannot be healed. The exposure is not punishment. The exposure is mercy. And I want my people to receive it as mercy. I want them to grieve what needs to be grieved, and then I want them to stand up and I want them to walk forward because I have something better waiting on the other side of this pain, something they could not have accessed while the hidden thing was still hidden, something that required the clearing away of what was false before the true thing could be built. So if you experience a betrayal in the first week of March, or if something comes to light about someone you trusted, I need you to hold on to those words. The exposure is mercy. He has seen it. He has known it. And he is bringing it into the light because he loves you too much to let you keep building on a foundation that was never solid. It is going to hurt. I am not going to pretend it won't hurt. But he is with you in the hurt. He is not standing at a distance watching you suffer. He is right there, in the middle of the pain, holding you together, whispering, I have something better. I have something better. And I need you to believe him, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. The fifth thing he showed me was a harvest, and after the weight of the fourth marker, this one felt like rain after a drought. It felt like the first breath of cool air after a long, suffocating summer. He showed me fields, vast fields stretching out under that same starlit desert sky, and the fields were full, overflowing, ready to be gathered. And he said to me, the fifth marker is a harvest of what has been planted in faith. There are people who have been sowing in tears for months, for years, who have been giving and praying and believing and waiting, and the first week of March will bring a harvest moment for some of them. Not all of them, but some. And I said, Lord, how will they know if they are one of the ones receiving a harvest? And he said, they will know, because they have been faithful in the small things. They have not given up. They have kept sowing even when they couldn't see any evidence of growth. Even when the ground looked dry and hard and nothing seemed to be happening, they kept sowing. Tell them their harvest is coming. Tell them to keep their hands open to receive it. And I want to speak directly to someone right now. I feel like there is someone reading this or watching this who has been on the verge of giving up. You have been faithful for so long. You have been praying. You have been believing. You have been doing everything you know to do, and you are tired. You are so tired. And you have started to wonder if any of it is actually working, if God is actually listening, if your faith is actually doing anything at all. You have started to wonder if maybe you misheard him, if maybe you got it wrong, if maybe the thing you have been believing for was never really his plan for you. And I need you to hear this. He showed me your field. He showed me what you have been planting. And it is not empty. It is not barren. It is full. It is ready. The harvest is there. Don't give up now. Don't walk away from your field right before the harvest comes. The fifth marker is for you. Your harvest is coming in the first week of March, and I need you to be there to receive it. The sixth thing he showed me was a convergence. And this one is harder to describe because it was more of a feeling than a picture, though there were images too. What I felt was a sense of things coming together, things that had seemed disconnected, things that had seemed random, suddenly aligning in a way that made sense, like puzzle pieces that had been scattered across a table suddenly finding their places, like separate threads suddenly being woven into a single coherent pattern. And he said to me, the sixth marker is a convergence of purposes. There are people who have been walking separate paths, people who have been doing their work in isolation, people who have been wondering why their journey has felt so solitary, so quiet, so lacking in the community and partnership they have been longing for. And in the first week of March, some of these paths will begin to converge. Connections will be made, partnerships will form. People will find each other who were always meant to find each other, and together they will be able to do what neither of them could do alone. And I felt such hope when he showed me this, because I think so many of us have been walking alone for so long. So many of us have been doing our work in isolation, wondering if we are the only one who sees what we see, who feels what we feel, who is called to what we are called to. And he is saying, no, you are not alone. And in the first week of March, some of you are going to find your people. Some of you are going to make a connection that changes everything. Some of you are going to realize that the path you have been walking alone was always leading you towards someone else who was walking a parallel path. And together you are going to do something that neither of you could have imagined doing on your own. So pay attention in the first week of March. Pay attention to the people who come into your life. Pay attention to the conversations that feel different, that feel charged with something more than coincidence. Because some of those conversations are divine appointments. Some of those connections are the convergence he showed me. And some of those people are going to be part of the next chapter of your story in ways you cannot yet imagine. And now we come to the seventh thing, the final marker. And I want to tell you that when he showed me this one, I fell to my knees in that desert. I literally fell to my knees in the sand under those stars, and I wept because this one is the most important. This one is the one that everything else has been building toward. This one is the reason he woke me up at 2:47 in the morning and sent me to tell you all of this. So I need you to be fully present right now. I need you to put down whatever else you are doing. I need you to read these next words slowly because they are the most important words in this entire message. And I need you to let them land, really land, not just in your mind, but in your heart, in your spirit, in the place where decisions are actually made. The seventh thing he showed me was a choice. A great, defining, irreversible choice that is coming for many people in the first week of March. And he showed it to me as a crossroads, a literal crossroads in the middle of that desert under those stars with two paths stretching out in opposite directions. And he said to me in the first week of March, many of my people will come to a crossroads. They will have to choose. And the choice will not be between something obviously good and something obviously evil. That would be easy. The choice will be between something comfortable and something holy, between something familiar and something new, between the life they have been living and the life I have been calling them to. And I said, Lord, what happens to the ones who choose the comfortable path? And he was quiet for a moment. And then he said, they will be okay. But they will miss what I had for them. They will spend years wondering what might have been. They will carry the weight of an unlived calling. And I said, Lord, what about the ones who choose the holy path, the new path, the life you have been calling them to? And he smiled. And I want to tell you about that smile because I have never seen anything like it. It was the smile of a father watching his child take their first steps. It was the smile of someone who already knows how the story ends and can't wait for you to find out. And he said, the ones who choose the holy path in the first week of March will step into a season of their lives that they have been waiting for, praying for, dreaming about for years. They will look back on this moment as the moment everything changed. Tell them the crossroads is coming. Tell them to choose the holy path. Tell them I will be with them every step of the way. And I am telling you right now, the crossroads is coming. In the first week of March, you are going to face a choice, and I am begging you, I am pleading with you, choose the holy path, choose the new thing, choose the life he has been calling you to, because he is going to be with you every single step of the way. And the season waiting on the other side of that choice is more beautiful than anything you have been able to imagine from where you are standing right now. Now, I want to talk about what all of this means because I think it is important to understand these 7 markers not just as isolated events, but as a connected sequence. He didn't show me 7 random things. He showed me 7 things that are part of a single story, a story that is unfolding in the first week of March, a story that you are a part of. The shaking of foundations leads to the open door. The open door is made possible because the shaking revealed what was false and cleared the way for what is true. The increase of voices makes the open door harder to see, which is why discernment is so critical in this season. The betrayal that surfaces clears the path of what was blocking you, even though it hurts. The harvest rewards the faithfulness that persisted through all of it, through the shaking and the confusion and the pain. The convergence brings together the people who are needed for the next chapter. And the crossroads is where all of it comes to a head, where you decide whether you are going to step into everything he has been preparing for you. Do you see it? Do you see how these 7 things are not separate events, but a single unfolding? And I think that is why he showed them to me in sequence, because he wanted me to help you see the whole picture, not just the individual pieces. He wanted you to understand that nothing happening in the first week of March is random. Nothing is accidental. Everything is intentional. Everything is connected. And everything is moving you toward the crossroads, toward the choice, toward the moment where you decide who you are going to be and what life you are going to live. And I want to speak to different groups of people right now because I think these 7 markers are going to land differently depending on where you are in your journey. And I want to make sure that every person reading this or watching this hears something that is specifically for them. If you are someone who has been in a season of stability, a season where things have felt comfortable and settled, the first marker, the shaking, is going to feel threatening. And I want to say to you, don't resist it. Don't try to hold on to the stability at the expense of the growth. The shaking is not your enemy. The shaking is your invitation. Let it do its work. Let it show you what is real and what is not, and then walk through the door that opens on the other side, because the stability you have been holding on to may have been keeping you from the life he has been calling you to. If you are someone who has been in a season of waiting, a season where you have been praying and believing and holding on by your fingernails, the 5th marker, the harvest, is for you. And I want to say to you, hold on just a little longer. Don't give up now. Don't walk away from your field right before the harvest comes. He sees your faithfulness. He has not forgotten your prayers. He has not lost track of what you have been sowing. Your harvest is coming, and it is going to be worth every single day of waiting. If you are someone who has been walking alone, someone who has been doing your work in isolation and wondering if you are the only one, the 6th marker, the convergence, is for you. And I want to say to you, your people are coming. Your divine connections are coming. Pay attention in the first week of March. Pay attention to who shows up in your life. Pay attention to the conversations that feel different, because some of those people are not accidents. Some of those people are answers to prayers you have been praying for years. And some of those connections are going to change the entire direction of what you are building. And if you are someone who has been standing at the edge of a decision, someone who has been feeling the pull towards something new, something bigger, something that scares you a little because it requires you to let go of what is comfortable, the 7th marker, the crossroads, is for you. And I want to say to you, this is your moment. This is the moment he has been preparing you for. Choose the holy path. Choose the new thing. Choose the life he has been calling you to, because he is going to be with you every step of the way, and the season on the other side of that choice is more beautiful than you can see from where you are standing right now. Now, I want to give you some very specific, very practical things that I believe you need to do in the days leading up to the first week of March, because I don't think it is enough to just know that these things are coming. I think you need to prepare. And I think preparation looks like specific actions, not just general spiritual awareness. So let me give you what I believe he is asking of you, and I want you to take these seriously because they are not suggestions. They are assignments. The first thing I believe you need to do is get quiet. I know that sounds simple, maybe even obvious, but I mean it in a very specific way. In the days between now and the first week of March, I need you to carve out time every single day to be completely quiet before God. Not talking, not asking, not presenting your list of needs. Just quiet, just present, just available. Because the markers he showed me, especially the 2nd one about the open door and the 7th one about the crossroads, require you to be able to hear his voice clearly, and you cannot hear his voice clearly if you are surrounded by noise. So get quiet every day, even if it is just 15 minutes, even if it is just 10. Get quiet and let him speak. And if nothing seems to happen at first, keep going, keep showing up, because he is speaking. He is always speaking. The question is whether we are quiet enough to hear. The second thing I believe you need to do is examine your foundations. The first marker is about a shaking of foundations, and I believe that before the shaking comes, he is giving you the opportunity to do a voluntary examination, to look at your life and ask yourself honestly, what am I standing on? What is the thing that, if it were taken away, would leave me feeling completely lost? Is it a relationship? Is it a financial situation? Is it a position or a title or a reputation? Is it someone else's approval? Because whatever that thing is, that is where you need to do some work before the first week of March. Not to destroy it, but to make sure it is not your foundation. He is the only foundation that cannot be shaken. Everything else is secondary. And the sooner you get that settled in your heart, the more peace you will have when the trembling begins. The third thing I believe you need to do is prepare your heart for the possibility of betrayal. I know that sounds heavy. I know that sounds like I am asking you to walk around in suspicion of everyone around you, and that is not what I mean at all. What I mean is this: if something comes to light in the first week of March, if something is revealed about someone you trusted, I want you to be prepared to receive it as mercy rather than catastrophe. I want you to have already decided before it happens that you are going to grieve what needs to be grieved and then stand up and walk forward, because the people who are prepared for the fourth marker will move through it in his peace, and the people who are not prepared will be devastated by it. So prepare your heart. Decide in advance that you trust him even when things are painful. Decide in advance that exposure is mercy. Decide in advance that he has something better waiting on the other side of every painful revelation. The fourth thing I believe you need to do is identify the door. I believe that for many of you, you already know what the open door is. You already know the opportunity, the decision, the step of faith that has been in front of you for a while now. You have been looking at it, you have been thinking about it, you have been praying about it, and something has been holding you back. Fear, maybe, or comfort, or the lie that the timing isn't right. And I am telling you, in the name of what I was shown in that desert under those stars, the timing is right. The door is open, and the first week of March is when you need to walk through it. So identify the door, name it, write it down, and make a decision right now that when the moment comes, you are going to walk through it. You are not going to hesitate. You are not going to look back. You are going to walk through. The fifth thing I believe you need to do is pay attention to the people who come into your life in the first week of March. I told you about the sixth marker, the convergence, the divine connections that are coming, and I want to make sure you don't miss them because you were too distracted or too busy or too closed off to notice. So I am asking you to be intentional about paying attention. When someone new comes into your life, when a conversation feels different, when a connection feels charged with something more than coincidence, don't dismiss it. Lean into it. Ask questions. Be open. Be present. Because some of those connections are the convergence he showed me, and some of those people are going to be part of the next chapter of your story in ways you cannot yet imagine. And the sixth thing, the most important practical step I can give you, is to make your decision about the crossroads before you get there. I know that sounds strange. How do you make a decision about a crossroads before you reach it? But I believe this is possible, and I believe it is necessary. Because when you are standing at the crossroads in the first week of March, the comfortable path is going to look very appealing. It is going to look safe. It is going to look familiar. And the holy path is going to look uncertain. It is going to look scary. It is going to look like it requires more of you than you think you have. And in that moment, if you haven't already decided, you might choose the comfortable path, not because you don't love God, but because you are human and humans choose comfort when they are scared. So decide now. Decide today. Decide that when you reach the crossroads in the first week of March, you are going to choose the holy path. Write it down. Say it out loud. Make it a declaration, because the decision you make in advance is the decision that will hold when the moment comes. I want to speak to you now with everything I have, because we are getting close to the end of this message, and I feel the urgency rising in me again. I feel that same urgency I felt when I was standing in that desert, looking into those eyes, hearing him say, "Tell them. Tell them all seven. Don't leave anything out." And I have told you all seven. I have not left anything out. And now I am asking you, what are you going to do with this? Because here is the thing about prophetic messages. They are not given for entertainment. They are not given so that you can watch or read and feel spiritually stimulated and then go back to your regular life unchanged. They are given as invitations. They are given as warnings. They are given as preparation. And the question is always, what will you do with what you have been given? Will you take it seriously? Will you act on it? Will you let it change something in you, something in your life, something in your choices? Or will you nod along and feel moved in the moment and then forget about it by tomorrow? I am pleading with you. I am pleading with you not to forget about this by tomorrow, because the first week of March is coming. It is coming fast, and the 7 things he showed me are going to happen whether you are prepared or not. The shaking is coming. The door is opening. The voices are going to multiply. The betrayal is going to surface. The harvest is going to come. The convergence is going to happen, and the crossroads is going to be there, waiting for you with 2 paths stretching out in opposite directions. And the only question is whether you are going to be ready, whether you are going to be the person who moves through these 7 markers in his peace, or the person who is blindsided by them. And, I think about the people he showed me in that vision, the ones who walked through the open door and the ones who turned away. I think about the ones who chose the holy path at the crossroads and the ones who chose the comfortable path. And I don't want you to be the one who turns away. I don't want you to be the one who chooses comfort over calling. I want you to be the one who walks through the door. I want you to be the one who chooses the holy path. I want you to be the one who, years from now, looks back on the first week of March 2026 and says, that was the week everything changed. That was the week I chose differently. That was the week I stopped living the life I had settled for and started living the life I was always meant to live. So let me pray with you right now. Let me pray over you right now because I believe prayer is not just a nice way to end a message. I believe prayer is the most powerful thing we can do. And I want to cover you in prayer before you go into the first week of March. So if you are willing, I want you to say this with me. Say it out loud if you can. Say it in your heart if you can't. But say it and mean it and let it be a declaration over your life. Lord, I receive this message as a gift. I receive these 7 markers as preparation, not as fear. I choose to stand on the only foundation that cannot be shaken, which is you. I choose to walk through the doors you open for me, even when I am afraid, even when I can't see where they lead. I choose to use your filter for the voices I listen to, peace, love, and life. I choose to receive exposure as mercy and to trust that you have something better on the other side of every painful revelation. I choose to keep my hands open to receive the harvest you have been preparing for me. I choose to pay attention to the divine connections you are bringing into my life. And I choose the holy path. I choose the new thing. I choose the life you have been calling me to. I trust you with every step of it. I trust you with all of it. I trust you even when I can't see the end from the beginning. I trust you even when it hurts. I trust you because you have never once let me go. Amen. Now I need you to do something for me. I need you to share this message. I know that might feel uncomfortable. I know some of you are thinking, what will people think of me if I share something like this? And I understand that. I really do. But I want you to think about the person in your life who needs to hear this. The person who is standing at a crossroads and doesn't know it yet. The person who is about to walk away from their field right before the harvest. The person who is about to be blindsided by a betrayal that he is trying to prepare them for. The person who has been walking alone for so long that they have started to believe that no one is coming, that no connection is possible, that they are just meant to do this by themselves forever. That person needs this message, and you might be the only one who can get it to them. So share it, send it to someone, post it, do whatever you need to do to make sure it reaches the people it was meant for. Because that is why he gave it to me, not just for me, not just for you, for everyone who needs to be prepared for the first week of March. And I want to say one more thing before I close because I think it is important. I think it is important that you know that he is not showing you these things to frighten you. He is not showing you these things to overwhelm you or to make you feel like the world is falling apart and there is nothing you can do. He is showing you these things because he loves you, because he sees what is coming and he wants you to be ready, because he has been watching you and he knows your name and he knows your story and he knows exactly what you need to hear right now. He knows about the thing you have been carrying. He knows about the prayer you have been praying for months. He knows about the door you have been standing in front of, afraid to walk through. He knows about the field you have been tending in tears, wondering if anything is ever going to grow. He knows. He sees. And he chose to send this message to you through me at 2:47 in the morning on February 25th, 2026, because you matter to him. You matter so much to him. And he wants you to walk through the first week of March, not in fear, but in faith. Not in confusion, but in clarity. Not alone, but with him. Every single step of the way. It is now 4:21 in the morning. I have been writing this for almost an hour and a half. My hands have stopped shaking, but my heart is still full, still heavy with the weight of what I was shown, still burning with the urgency of making sure you received every single word. I don't know what the next few days are going to bring for you specifically. I don't know exactly how these 7 markers are going to show up in your particular life, in your particular circumstances, in your particular story, but I know that he does. I know that he sees you. I know that he has been preparing you for this moment, for this season, for this crossroads, for longer than you know. And I know that whatever comes in the first week of March, you do not have to face it alone. You were never meant to face any of it alone. So go and get quiet before him. Go and examine your foundations. Go and prepare your heart. Go and identify the door. Go and pay attention to the people he brings into your life. And go and make your decision about the crossroads before you get there. Do these things. Do them now, while the urgency is still fresh, while the weight of this message is still on you, while the fire of what I was shown is still burning in my chest, and I hope in yours too. Because the first week of March is coming, and you were meant to be ready. You were always meant to be ready, and now you are. I will be back with more. There is more he wants to share, more he wants to say, more he wants to prepare you for. This is not the end of the conversation. This is the beginning. So stay close, stay tuned, stay rooted, and whatever you do, whatever happens in the days ahead, whatever shakes and whatever opens and whatever is revealed and whatever harvest comes and whatever crossroads you find yourself standing at, stay rooted in him, because he is the only foundation that cannot be shaken. And he is with you. He is with you right now as you read these words, and he will be with you every single step of the way through the first week of March and beyond. He is not going anywhere, and neither is his love for you.